So, Jeremy, one of the things that's certainly happening in the world right now is things are changing rapidly, and certainly that includes in our industry. And in our world, in the advertising business, the change that always starts is with the consumers. And consumers have clearly made a big change in how they spend time with content, moving more towards streaming, more time shifted, et cetera. You guys are clearly in a business that is impacted by that, and I wonder what your perspective is on given all these different kind of consumer changes. What's most important? What's really maybe driving the industry forward as a result of these different consumer changes and our new expectations for how we consume content?
You're absolutely right. I mean, consumption habits have fundamentally changed. When, where, and how consumers want to watch TV is fundamentally different. Consumers are on the go, they want TV on their terms, and they're no longer tied to a schedule or to a programming grid. And we're seeing habits like binging and pausing very commonplace now. In fact, Hulu has over a billion ad-supported pauses a month, and 50% of our content, our ad-supported sessions, are viewed in a binge mode, which is uh, three or more episodes at a given time. So TV has fundamentally changed. But what I would say from an advertising perspective is that TV advertising has not. We all understand that the viewer expectation and behavior has changed, but advertising hasn't kept up. It's still the same largely disruptive formats that we're seeing in TV today, and really breaks the storytelling experience in a way that really doesn't need to be. And so the industry's focus around innovation, around ad breaks, and how you change that model is fundamental. I think the consumer expectation in streaming television in particular is that the advertising is going to be more relevant. It's going to be less disruptive to their experience. It's more seamless and integrated into the overall storytelling journey that the viewer is having. And that is the expectation that we're focused on delivering against at Hulu, because that is the promise. The promise of choice and control extends not only to the content, but also to the advertising itself.
And is your perspective that, listen, change takes time, and there's always friction in changing that behavior. Getting to that less interruptive, more engagement focus. What are the barriers to that, or which parts of the industry need to continue to push? Is it more on publishers like yourselves and distributors like yourselves to create new formats? Is it more about marketers finding a way to adopt, or a little bit of both, maybe, or something else?
Look, I think it's as an industry, we have to come together and acknowledge that there is a better way to do things. And we certainly at Hulu feel the desire and have demonstrated the desire to really help lead innovation in the advertising industry, and demonstrate that you can deliver a less disruptive, more relevant experience and think about the viewer and have a directly correlating positive impact on return on investment for the advertiser. And I think that's always been the trade-off that people have been concerned about. We've taken the approach of saying, look, the bedrock of our strategy is what we call viewer-first advertising. It's the idea that advertising should be more consistent, it should be more relevant, it should be more integrated. And by doing that, you can deliver not only a better viewer experience, but you can also deliver a higher return on investment for the advertiser.
Sure.
And so, that's, we've kind of leaned into that. We've been able to demonstrate that. Our pause ad, which we debuted last year, demonstrated that a 68% increase in ad recall, which is about 5x the benchmark. And that's a much less disruptive ad format. And we expect to see the same thing in the other formats that we're delivering as well. And so I think that's how we have to approach it. There's no lack of desire from advertisers for wanting to try new things. As we roll out these innovations, we're seeing lots of interest from advertisers. And so, we put ourselves in the driver's seat and say, look, we have to lead the industry. And I think that's the role that, from a publisher perspective, if you will, that we see ourselves in.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. So clearly content or ad content experiences or ad experience is a huge part of the investment strategy. When I hear some of what you're talking about, I also think that behind the scenes there's a need to understand your consumers, have the right data, have the right tools that allow for not just delivering the right experience, but also enabling optimization, enabling segmentation, et cetera. So clearly you guys are making investments in the ad experience side of things. Are you also making investments in these other areas as well?
Yeah, it's a relevancy, personalization. I mean, it's one of the key tentpoles. When we think about experience, we think about data and measurement, and we think about automation as kind of the tentpoles that we're focused around. And in particular, our first focus around viewer experience, and you would have seen this last year from Hulu, was really to focus on how do we manage the experience from a frequency perspective, using our understanding of how viewers are consuming content to deliver a better frequency of ads, so that ads were, are focused, in a way that doesn't overwhelm the viewer, right? And so the next area after frequency that we get feedback from viewers on is around relevancy. So how are we using our understanding of who the viewer is, not just from a who they are, but also what is the context within which they're watching their favorite content. We like to use this concept of what we call audience context to say, okay, not who is the viewer, but also what is the mindset, the type of content they're watching, other signals that we may have, so that we deliver a much more relevant experience for them. And so that combination of both the distribution of advertising and our industry leading ad load, along with relevancy of that advertising, delivers a much better experience for them.
Jeremy, in order to really deliver the personalization and the relevancy that marketers expect, there's a lot that has to do, I would think, with a lot of microsegmentation. And historically, especially in the TV industry, ads have been bought on age, gender, right? We know that GRPs. Clearly, the topic of advanced television and advanced audiences has become a topic du jour in many ways, and it seems like everyone is investing in that strategy. That to me seems key, to be able to enable, again, what I'll call microsegmentation, but maybe you would think about it as a different phraseology or maybe something different. But in order to hit what consumers expect, it can't be the same ad to all people, I would assume. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that the idea of personalization of relevancy goes way beyond the understanding of the demography of who the person is. And I know as an industry, we spend a lot of time talking about identity, and we talk about the age and gender, the profile of the individual. But I think one of the things that's really important and is a tremendous opportunity for the TV industry when it comes to relevancy is not just the vector around demography and who the person is, but what is the environment that they're watching their content in? What is the mindset of the person or the mood, and what is the type of content, not from a context perspective, but like, is it live? Is it on demand? And will someone are they watching TV with someone or watching by themselves on a smaller screen? And the reason I say that is because the opportunity for us as we think about segmentation, as we think about relevancy of the advertising experience, needs to take more of that into consideration. And I think the feedback that we get from our viewers is like, they want us to have a relationship with them, to know them from the perspective of, relevancy to them is not just, hey, you know who I am, but it's, okay, what is the mindset I'm in when I'm watching my favorite content? What is the type of content that I like to watch? And the combination of those things together, that's what unlocks relevancy, I believe, for television longer term, and where we get to that higher order of relevancy, what viewers are really looking for from their experience in TV and TV advertising in particular.